watching Tim Pool the other day, and he was bringing up. I forget what the full conversation was, but he basically was saying about how like crazy it is that they sit there and talk about their feelings and they make more money than a plumber.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, that is kind of interesting because like fuck, we need plumbers. We really need plumbers. And then I was thinking, it's like, anybody can do this. The cost of entry for us to do this is fucking very low, and the bar is. There isn't a limit to the ceiling, right? Like it's constantly going up, right? You got Joe Rogan signing $100 million contract deals.
I have a point to make about this right away, but go. Yeah,
but that's a tangent. But
no, I mean it's specific what you're talking about.
So you can do this, right? And there's no upper limit bar. But so like, okay, this kind of becomes a thing that people want to do, and people want to make it in this kind of world. Because of that, because they're $100 million contract, the elusive fucking make $1 million a year being a podcaster or whatever, right? And then
some people just like doing it, like you and I.
Then well, it's a fun conversation.
I like having fun conversations. But
we were doing this anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
We were doing it anyway, regardless. We figured we'd take it to the end.
Let's bring it in.
But so. I had this weird idea. It's like, okay, how do we encourage people to actually get into the trades, especially in our society that is constantly like fucking, I don't know, denigrating the tradespeople? Like it's like, I don't know, almost looked down upon.
You know what it is?
To be a plumber.
No, you know what it is right now?
What?
This is needed more than that. It's a very simplistic thing. If you look at like need versus supply, that's what it is. I think the reason why I say that this is needed more, we're starving of real conversation.
Well, there's that, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. So people are,
but even
but hold on, let me make this point.
Even with fake conversation,
but people are looking for this. People are looking for genuine conversations about shit that they feel like they can't talk about. Now, a plumber, somebody having an issue like that, yeah, okay, they're gonna need a plumber. Essentially, they're gonna need someone to fix it. But because it's not
plumbers, electricians, all that.
But it's not so sought after yet. There's still enough of them out there that it's no longer it hasn't become scarce yet.
Yeah,
right?
I mean it's getting there though.
It is.
Less
you're right.
Less.
No,
we got less people going.
You're right. 100%.
Which is kind of where this.
It's kind of like the population decline. It's going to start to happen when people stop having kids.
But so I was thinking,
haven't seen it yet though.
Why don't we try to make these occupations that actually make society work? Right, the things that genuinely make, like, we need plumbers, we need electricians, whatever it is, we need the people that fix the roads, right? What if we could implement something into society that made those people rich, or like much closer to rich than we could now? I'm
kind of with you. Listen, I'm kind of with you. But
let me.
Okay, go ahead.
The idea is I've called it an extravagance tax, and what I was thinking is like, okay, what if we took like added a 10% tax to what would be like luxuries? So like think maybe a house that costs over $1 million, a car that costs over $100,000, a watch that costs over $1,000, like things that nobody needs. Anybody who's buying these things in the first place is buying them out of as an extravagance, out of something that like it isn't that you need a watch, so you're spending $15,000 on a watch.
Sure.
Right. So we just bump the price up a little bit because it's already one of those things that people are getting almost for the for like the social status of having these things in the first place.
Okay.
And people who have the money to throw in to do it. And you take this money, and I don't know how much money you could pull from that if you like. I don't know what luxury goods get or how many dollars are sort of moved in that market. But what if we took that tax, put it into a pool, not to go to the government, because I don't fucking trust the government to do shit with money, but there's like a pool that is created, and this pool gets distributed to tradespeople evenly based on hours.
Okay, so how is it
worked?
Then who does it? Who takes the money?
Yeah, you'd have to. It would have to exist within government, but it would have to be strictly defined as like these dollars go to this, and there's a trackable fucking trace so that we don't see someone fucking taking it for themselves.
So you've just basically conflated two different things. You're conflating government actually acting properly for the people, and number two, the market. Like, so what's going to naturally happen as the trades decline, as more and more people don't go into the trades, eventually the market's gonna turn. So like hiring a plumber, for example. So let me make a point. Let me make the point before you interject too much. So if right now, let's say a plumber's making $40 an hour, right? And you have, because supply and demand deems that as the price. If you have 50% less plumbers, at some point, plumbers are going to be able to charge $80 an hour, right? And when people see that, people like, in high school and things like that, see that and they go, oh, fuck, I can make $80 as a plumber. You're going to see an influx, a re-influx back into the trades. What ended up happening, the reason why you see a decline in the trades, because back in the day, they were great jobs. Now, they're just pretty good jobs. When they become great jobs again, you can see a shit ton of people going into them because they're going to go, oh, fuck, I can go for 3 years or whatever, or 5 years.
See, I want to see these people paid more akin to professional athletes than like low six-figure salary people.
100%.
So that's what this idea is about. It's like, to a certain extent, reappropriating money and to throw it into the...
He's going to do it.
Into the things. I'll do it.
Yeah. That's what we need AI for.
We need me.
No, but seriously, if we had some kind of... We've had this conversation a few times. I've said if we had some type of...
some kind of AI could facilitate this particular thing, and AI could do it.
As long as it was without fucking emotion.
It's a very simple set of rules, too. Just to like take all this money, however much it is, redistribute it evenly to all the tradespeople based on hours worked, right? There's this many hours worked.
So communist, by the way.
I told you were going to accuse me of being a communist.
That sounds so communist.
But the idea is that maybe you could take a plumber and boost them from making $80,000 a year, and maybe they'll get a $50,000 to $100,000 check at the end of the year because our economy is so good and there's such a luxury. And then these people who do this thing that is so critical to our infrastructure, then they get, obviously we're not gonna be able to get them to like millions of dollars a year, maybe, right? If you're
right.
if you're exceptional and you start a business, you can do that, but you have to be business minded. And I think a lot of these people, they might be good at what they do, but they're not necessarily business minded.
I get what you're saying, but it's everything you're saying is like you have to take the element of the imperfection of humans out of it. Number one, and basically what you're alluding to is that the free market's ruined, because the free market would dictate that kind of thing. If something's worth something, right? Like if I make if I make this iPhone and it's worth a lot to somebody, they really want it, they're gonna pay for it. It's the same for like a plumber or an electrician. Unfortunately, they're based on certain things that are controlled by a bad economy or a bad marketplace.
So much that is that there's a stigma against it that I think hurts us as a society,
just because of this.
It doesn't encourage people. Yes, and that's what I'm saying is like
because of social media, because of fucking influencers, all this shit. Right.
And they make a stupid amount of money.
Yep.
And I'm not saying that they shouldn't make a stupid amount of money, but maybe if you have a YouTuber that makes $10 million a year who goes out and buys $1 million watches, maybe some of that money can be redirected in a way that boosts our critical infrastructure, right? Because I'm just thinking like from a societal perspective, like at a certain point, like what happens if we do have a plumber shortage? Like that's not going to be good.
I think it would short itself up pretty quick.
It might.
People are shitting on themselves. I think it would short
but
itself
it's still
up.
Like, I want to. My idea is to get these jobs to like a level of status where it's like,
rock star status.
Yeah, almost.
I know what you mean.
Almost.
I know what you're saying.
Like not right. Like
I know.
a comparable thing
like
might
a
be
doctor or
a doctor.
Yeah, I get it.
Or like an engineer.
I get exactly what you're saying.
You
I get
know,
exactly what you're saying.
To
And
boost them.
I think you're right, but I think the
by
problem
giving them that financial
yeah,
leverage.
I think the problem is the .com boom.